I recognize and know the Father, Mother, God, the divine, infinite, that invisible that makes everything visible, that is life itself. Everything is in that divine, perfect order, knowing that this Sunday service is a manifestation of spirit, spirit expressing itself through Neil as he is a vessel, an open vessel for spirit to bring through him this Sunday message with love, joy, and harmony. So as we open our heart and soul and being receptive for this nourishing insights, that we are truly individually and collectively as one. And I declare and know that this is the truth, and we can confirm this by saying together, and so it is.
We believe in spiritual living. Above all else, it is a philosophy that urges us to focus on how to think and not what to think. It invites us to practice this philosophy and apply it to our lives right now by living with principles. Our relationship with God is a personal one. We believe that God is all that there is. Every person, place, or thing is not only an expression of God, but God itself. God is the absolute presence that not only creates, but is itself all things. All the love, peace, and beauty is in each of us as the presence of God right now. I know this of you, too. You are just as divine because God is within you as well. Together we are all connected as one. Our faith allows us to apply this philosophy to our lives in every moment of every day. As we live in love, we see love revealed and flowing through the world around us. We act as citizens of this spiritual community at all times. This is how we think. We believe in ourselves, and we believe in you, because we believe in spiritual living.
Good morning. So as you heard Reverend Edward Filioun, who is our spiritual leader, talk about our monthly theme this month, it is the soul's call. The soul's call. And our topic this week is pushed by pain. So what is it? What is this soul's call? The soul's call for me is that beautiful, complicated calling within each one of us that is always calling us to grow, to serve humanity, and expand our consciousness. There is that within us, that spirit within us, that is always urging us to grow, to expand, to step out onto our growing edge. There is one of my favorite sayings is from the Jewish tradition and the Midrash, which says that every blade of grass has an angel bending over it saying, grow, grow. And I like to imagine that there's that spirit within us, our soul's call, that is always whispering to us, grow, grow. So that's going to be our topic this week of looking at our soul's call, and in some ways, what stands in the way of answering that? What stands in the way of us answering our soul? So there's a story about a young lady who decides to change and improve her diet. And so she goes to the restaurant and she says, well, I would like some fresh fruit and some tofu and a garden salad. And I would like it all carefully arranged so it looks like a hamburger, a shake, and fries. I'll own that one. So for many of us, this is what change is about, right? We come here again on this Sunday changing back or coming back into recentering in love, and it's yet another year of change, right? Another moment in this year of change. And so for some of us, that change is comfortable and we're excited, and for some of us, we're still a little wary, a little uncomfortable, which is okay too. But it is this idea that change is a change is a constant in our universe, right? Change is the ever constant thing in our universe. But our minds seek out stability. Our minds like what is comfortable, what is known. At the beginning of last year in March, when the world shut down for the pandemic, right? A lot of us had that trouble transitioning up, that sudden change that is so uncomfortable. And here we are again, a year and a half-ish later, and things are changing again, and we're coming back, and we're recentering, and we're reopening. And it seems a little odd to me that change now feels a little uncomfortable. So I have some good news, and I have some bad news. What do you want to hear first? The good news is, we're science and mind. We have to do good news first. The good news is everything changes. The bad news is everything changes. Right? Life is always growing, expanding. We take 2 steps forward, we take 1 step back, and that's how we dance with life. 2 steps forward, 1 step back. 3 steps forward, 1 step back. And that's how we create this dance with life. So my topic today is pushed by pain. But in a lot of ways, this is the second part to the last time I was here, which is where we were talked about being pulled by vision. Right? There's a saying in Science of Mind that says, you can either be pushed by pain or pulled by vision. Not that one is necessarily better than the other, but sometimes life shows up in either one of those ways. Sometimes we are pulled by a greater vision, a greater idea. That's what we talked about last time I was here, right? And sometimes life shows up that we get pushed by pain. What does it mean to be pushed by pain? Well, how many of you have ever worn shoes that were just a little too small? It is that sense of a change needs to happen, right? That shoe that's too tight on our foot is that the universe's way of saying a change needs to happen here. There's something trying to get my attention. There's a moment, an opportunity for growth. Sometimes those changes happen quickly, sometimes they happen slowly. But the opportunity is that change is always happening. Sometimes that changes our bodies. Our bodies change and we experience pain. The story that we've been telling ourselves for years about who we are and what our life is like suddenly changes. And there's some pain. A leader changes, a job changes, a building changes. Something that we thought was so stable and would never change. And guess what? It changes. Because that's the way life is. That's the way that life shows up. And isn't that a good thing? It doesn't always feel that way. But that pain that we feel when life changes can be a pathway for our growth. There's often this misunderstanding in our Science of Mind teaching that says that if life is painful for you, that you have to deny it, that you can't admit it. Because if you admit it and you admit that you're in pain, then you're somehow feeding it energy, you're somehow giving it energy. But that's really not what Science of Mind teaches at all. Science of Mind teaches us, and this is a quote from Ernest Holmes. Ernest Holmes says, "I believe everything is as real as it's supposed to be. If a person hurts, they hurt. There's no use denying it." Ernest Holmes goes on to say in the Science of Mind, "We must transcend the appearance even though we admit it as a fact. We are not so cold-blooded to say to a person with pain that there is no such thing as pain, that is not our idea or our purpose. We admit the fact. Changes. It is quite a different thing to admit its necessity. Pain is very often a product of change, and change is a fact of life. So, as science of mind practitioners, small p and big P, how do we deal with this idea of pain? Well, I have three principles for you, three spiritual principles for you this morning, and I have three processes, and I have three spiritual practices. Are you ready? Here are the spiritual principles. Number one, while there may be pain, we can rent it and not own it. There is a big difference between renting the challenges, the pain, the discomfort in our lives and owning it and holding on to it. We can and should admit in our lives when we're struggling. We should reach out and get that support that we need. But we should also freely and exuberantly claim that that pain, that discomfort is not permanent, it is not necessary, and it is not who we are, and it's not who we're choosing to be. The good news is, it too can and will change. We rent it, we don't own it. If something changes that in my life that causes me pain, the good news is it can change right back. Do you believe that's possible? Spiritual principle number 2. We can come to peace with pain. Michael Singer, the author of The Untethered Soul, says this: one of the essential requirements for true spiritual growth and deep personal transformation is coming to peace with pain. No expansion or evolution can take place without change. And periods of change are not always comfortable. Have you noticed? Change involves challenging what is familiar to us and daring to question our traditional needs for safety, comfort, and control. This is often perceived as a painful experience. This is about practicing non-resistance. Another famous little saying that we like to have around science of mind teaching is what you resist persists. Right? So we come to a place where we can be at peace with our discomfort. Because if we resist it and we say it doesn't exist, we can only heal what shows that what we can reveal. We have to acknowledge the pain. We have to say, this is happening. We have to admit the fact. But we also need to transcend and move beyond and see the and. I am in pain and I know that I am whole, complete, and perfect. I am uncomfortable in this moment, but I also know that I am divinely guided, inspired, and directed. It's adding the and. And through that, we come to peace with pain. We practice non-resistance. Spiritual principle number 3. Our choices determine our consciousness. Do you believe that God is all there is? Do we believe it all the time? We try. I try. Are there moments that we forget? Quite definitely. Is that okay? That's okay too. Because here's the truth. God is all that there is. And if we really truly believe that at the core of our being, then we know that everything is good or leading up to good. Everything is good because it's all God, or it's leading to good? What if we lived our life as if we knew that every challenge, every bodily ache, every uncomfortable situation in our jobs, every difficult conversation, difficult relationship, moments of doubt, moments of pain was good or leading to good? Whatever it is that you are bringing with you this morning, I know and declare in this moment that it is good or leading to good. Are you with me? So here are your 3 processes. Number 1, pain is the perfect fertilizer. And here comes my favorite story. So 3 men walk into a room, and in this room there is a giant pile of horse manure. And the 3 of them start talking, and there's, oh my gosh, look at this big pile of horse manure. What are we going to do? This is such a big mess. Who's going to clean it up? And the 4th man looks at him and says, oh, this is good. And the first 3 look at him and say, what are you talking about? There's this big pile of horse manure. And the 4th man says, well, with all this manure, there must be a pony in here somewhere. With all of the pain and challenges and discomforts and changes in our lives, it is all leading to good. There's a pony in here somewhere. The more fertilizer, the better the chances are there's a pony in there for you somewhere. So the question is, how is your pain providing an essential ingredient required for your development? What is your pain guiding you to release, enhance, or substitute in order to achieve that dynamic, meaningful, and fulfilling life that you desire and deserve? It's there for a reason. It's there to serve you because everything in this universe is here for your growth. It's here for your good. It's here for your expansion. Number 2. Pain is not punishment. I know this is one of those beliefs that we carry around with us. Sometimes consciously, sometimes unconsciously. Stop thinking that you must have done something wrong if you're experiencing something painful. That pain is simply calling your attention to something. When my knee hurts, it's usually calling my attention to the fact that I need to sit down for a few minutes. Right? That pain is serving as a reminder, an opportunity for you to be mindful about something in your life. Whether that pain be physical or emotional or spiritual, however that discomfort, however that change, however that pain is showing up in your life, it is an opportunity for the universe to say to you, here's something that you need to pay attention to. What do you need to let go of? What needs to be released? What is asking for more attention and mindfulness on your part? Process number 3. Let pain be your pathway. I love Tracy Brown, and I love this quote. She says, pain can be your motivation for a breakdown, for a breakup, or a breakthrough. That pain is calling for your attention. It's calling for your mindfulness. And when you notice those painful opportunities, those painful circumstances in your life, the question that you get to choose is it going to be a breakup? Maybe there's something in your life or a person in your life or a situation in your life that you're ready to break up with. Or it can be an opportunity for a breakthrough. A recognition that you are not your body. God is the allness of everything. And this too is good or leading to good. So part 3, the spiritual practices. We talked about the spiritual principles as they relate to pain. We talked about the processes, the ways that we grow into those spiritual principles. And then we come to the spiritual practice. Number 1, this is one of my favorite affirmations. This is from Emma Curtis Hopkins, who was a teacher of our founder, Ernest Holmes. She's known as the teacher of teachers. And it goes like this. This too is good. This too is God. This too is for me, and I demand to see the blessing in it for me. This too is good. Hold in your minds that painful experience or body part or relationship that you might be going through right now. Surrounded in that white light of love, and say to yourself, this too is good. This too is God. This too is for me, and I demand to see the blessing in it for me. Chills, right? I love that affirmation. Second spiritual practice. Speak or write a spiritual mind treatment, an affirmative prayer that acknowledges the pain. We don't deny it. We deny it its necessity. We deny it its reality. And then we proclaim in that realization steps the allness of God. God is all that there is. And the truth is that God doesn't know anything about pain. God doesn't know pain. So as we know God and embrace that allness, the need for that pain evaporates. Spiritual practice number 3, journal. Write a letter to your pain, or a letter from your pain. What is calling your attention? That pain is calling your attention to something. Speak for it. What is it trying to say to you? What's it asking you to be mindful of? What needs are not being met? What are you afraid to let go of? So we talked about 3 spiritual principles. We talked about 3 processes to achieve those spiritual principles. And we talked about 3 spiritual practices. None of us enjoys painful experiences. But instead of avoiding pain or denying it or pretending it doesn't exist, we can accept it, practice non-resistance, and use it for our spiritual growth. There's a pony in there somewhere. This week, I invite you to remember that whatever pain you are experiencing, it can inspire you to choose what you want instead. Transform that pain into fertilizer, and then do the work to transform your life. And in closing here, we have one last Ernest Holmes quote. He says, everything that is wrong in our experience, whether we call it pain, sickness, poverty, or unhappiness, is a denial of the allness of God. And so it is. And so I invite you to join me in consciousness this morning as we close out our morning here in prayer. Taking that message, whatever it is yours to be heard this morning, I trust that you heard this morning. And recognize with me in your consciousness the allness of God. God is the vastness of the universe. So big, it can't be contained. There are no limitations. Whatever descriptions we give to God are limitations. For that energy of love, that energy of intelligence, that energy of wisdom and divine right order and perfect action that we call God is everywhere present equally present. It is filling all time, all space. It fills the past, it fills the present, it fills the future. It is perfect divine love. It is total, complete wholeness. It is all-knowing, perfect intelligence, divine right action, perfect wisdom. And because that is such a mouthful to say, we simply know that God is all that there is. And because we know that God is all there is, we know that all of those divine attributes, those ways of naming God, are our names too. We are that divine intelligence. We are that perfect wisdom. We are that wholeness that knows nothing is missing, nothing is broken. We are that divine and perfect divine right action because we are God knowing itself. We are the universe declaring itself. We are the natural outpouring of love that is God. And so in this moment, and knowing this truth, I simply speak my word this morning for everybody within the sound of my voice, knowing that whatever is needed this morning is present because God is present. Wherever there is a need for peace, I claim it now. Wherever there is a need for wholeness, I know it is present. Wherever there is a need for divine right action, perfect abundance, balance, or joy, I know that it is right where we are here this morning, awaiting our recognition of it. And so we recognize it, we claim it, we know it. And I speak my word for every person this morning who is experiencing or has experienced pain. Not denying it, but denying its power over us. Because we can transcend those conditions. We can say, and I know that God has been present through it all. That love has been present through it all. And that this too is good. This too is God. And in this moment, I claim and I demand to see the good in it for me. Because I know it's there. And I'm so grateful for that good. I'm so grateful for that energy which we call God. I'm so grateful for this teaching that says that I can show up as my authentic self, as that love, as that wisdom. I'm grateful for this spiritual community who affirms who we are and reminds us of our divine and perfect nature. And I release my word into that law that always says yes. That part of the universe that acts as a mirror, that reflects back to us all that we plant in it. And reflects back to us perfectly everything that we claim, everything that we know, everything that we choose to be in this moment. I simply release my word, knowing it is done, it is complete, it is whole, it is everything that it needs to be. And because I am loved, I know that I am heard in this moment. And I simply release my word into that law, and in great gratitude I say, and so it is.
Thank you for participating in our service. You can do online giving by texting GIVE to 951-420-6909. You can visit our website at cslbeaumont.org and click the donate button at the bottom or the top of the screen. Or you can mail your donation to Center for Spiritual Living, 802 Maple Avenue, Beaumont, California, 92223. If you enjoyed this service and are watching on YouTube or Facebook, please like and share this video and add a comment on it. If you haven't already on YouTube, please subscribe to our channel and hit the little notification bell to be updated when we post new content. For those on Zoom, visit our Facebook page to comment and share to help spread this message.